Hello and welcome to Source Code. My name is Owen and this is my channel where I talk about my video game, ways to stay motivated and much more. Today is the second devlog of this channel, and for this video I will be talking about working with AI and how AI functions within my game. Plus 2 new changes that have been made recently to make the AI feel even more alive. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button and let's get started. To start, AI is an integral part of my video game due to its stealth-focused gameplay. Each enemy has 3 states: patrol, investigate, and chase. I will discuss each one and their functions within my AI. The enemy patrols between many points within the world, and there is a dynamic system that allows me to change and add as many points per enemy. In addition, such as how long enemies stay in each point and how fast they move between them. The enemy has a field of view. This is the enemy's eye that can be changed. Things like the width of this vision can be expanded or shrunk, as well as the distance the enemy can see. And if the player is within the field of view for long enough, the enemy will go into a chase state, which leads us onto our next state. For the chase state, before the 2 changes were made, the enemy had a range parameter, and if the player was within that range and being chased, the enemy would continue to chase until the player is out of range, resulting in the enemy returning to their patrol. However, this has some flaws, as we will discuss in the 2 added changes. And lastly, the investigate state. This is only triggered by a few things, such as throwing an object near them. If an object is thrown near them, the enemy will begin to investigate, and if the player is within that field of view at that time, will go into chase state. However, if not, will return to their patrol state like before. The length that they investigate can also be changed to whatever time is needed for that enemy. Now, what changes have been made and why have they been made? Let's turn back time when I made a choice of making an enemy type that when going into the chase state will run. This created a domino effect requiring necessary changes to the player controller, giving the player the ability to run away. However, this impacted other things such as the field of view as discussed before, allowing you to potentially run past enemies in their field of view and escape without much work. So some code was implemented, meaning that if the player is running and goes into the enemy's field of view, the enemy directly goes into the chase state. This stops the player just running through the world without many consequences. The second adjustment was with the enemy's range when chasing the player. Upon playtesting, there was a lot of situations where you could run away from the easy enemy types and into a room and you would still be in range. Therefore, the enemy would just run into that room and grab hold of you. So what I decided to do was, instead of just accounting for the radius parameter, it puts into consideration the field of view also. Meaning that if the player is inside the radius but outside of the field of view, the AI will wait a few seconds. And if the player is out of that field of view during that time, the AI will resume patrolling. This made it easier to escape from some of the medium type enemies, but still pose some threat to the more difficult enemy type. Now, these changes dramatically help the AI feel more responsive to the player, whilst also reducing the flaws and making them relevant. AI has many variables that are required, especially in stealth games. These are just a few, but as you can see, there are more variables that can be changed to create new enemy types, making them either easier or difficult, which could eventually be employed in a difficult setting for the game. So that's the video, a quick rundown of how AI functions in my game. I plan to expand it even further with other enemy types that behave even more differently. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.